All right. Hi, students. Welcome to JA It's My Job. We are in session 2 talking about job applications and resumes. I've got 3 wonderful volunteers with us today from a Big 4 accounting firm with offices here in the Nashville area. Would each of you go ahead and introduce yourselves for us?
I'll start. Hi, everyone. I'm Catherine. I work for a public accounting firm and primarily working on the audit, or you call it an accountant, in that degree. I've been working in this profession for 8 years.
Hi, everybody. I'm Sam. I work for the same firm. I'm on the tax side, so not quite the same thing as what Catherine's doing, but doing just general tax compliance. So think about big companies obviously paying a lot of money in taxes, and so I'm kind of on the ground facilitating some of that work. I've been with the firm for a little over a year and a half now, so a little bit fresh, but feel like I'm learning a lot so far.
Yeah, my name is Josh Shelley. I've been with this firm. I'm also on the audit side. I've been with this firm for about 6 years or so. And I work with Catherine pretty frequently. And I know audit sometimes it's a weird rep or bad rep, but probably the easiest way to think about it is that people want to have confidence in the companies that they're investing in, whether it's Amazon or Google or whatever. And that's what we do, is we provide confidence to those markets and stuff.
Great. Well, thank you all. Let's go ahead and jump right in. Students, I'm going to kind of set the stage for this lesson. As you're thinking about your future careers and how you're actually going to acquire those jobs that are going to give you hopefully a handsome paycheck someday, you're going to have to still apply for that job. It's not just going to be given to you. So when you search for a job, you're going to need to tell your prospective employers about yourself. You might have to fill out an application online or even on paper if that still exists. I can remember some of my first jobs filling out a paper application. Most of them are going to be online today. You'll probably need to upload a resume, whether that is into a certain portal or by emailing it, depending on what the job posting requires. But regardless of the format, you're going to want to present yourself in writing in order to get that interview. And then the interview will hopefully give you some face time, whether in person or virtually, to take that next step towards the job. So as the 3 of you are thinking today about the application and the resume writing process, give me an example of what's something you would want to make sure you are sharing about yourself with a potential employer. How would you do that in that application process?
You know, there's a lot of things that you think about that you think might be valuable to an employer. The first thing, especially when I was first starting out, both with my current job, when I was applying for that, and other jobs that I've had in the past, whether they be part-time jobs in school or jobs subsequent to that, is just about your work ethic and that sort of thing. Because there is a lot of stuff, if you're able to and you're willing to work and have a good attitude on the job, you will be the type of person that can learn what you need to learn to excel in that job. Work ethic is something that the employer will value and know that once I hire so-and-so, that person is going to work hard to get to where he or she needs to be to excel in this job and make me, the employer, a better company.
And to add with Josh, I think as you think through, like, applying for the job, I think it's important of kind of have a list of your skill set, your experiences, and also get to know your employer, right? How you can add value and try to reflect that in your resume, in your cover letter, and so that to you to get in front of their door for an interview, right? Because that's really the hardest part, is getting an interview, and that's really really involves around how you set yourself, what you write in your resume, and what you put in your cover letter to make it more meaningful and relevant for them, so that they can invite you for interview.
Yeah, and just to echo kind of what both of them said, I think it's mostly about kind of putting your best foot forward. Of course, you're applying for the job, so you're thinking, okay, how can I be helping this company? Even if, you might not have a lot of work experience, say you were a lifeguard. Well, think about some of those responsibilities that you might have had and how those can kind of translate into a different job. Obviously, sitting at the pool is different than working for an accounting firm. But there's some of those kind of like, thoughts and principles of, okay, like I had certain responsibilities that I had to do every single day, whether, opening or closing something down. So I'd say, yeah, just try to frame everything in the best light for you of how can I help? How can I contribute? Like, what can I do to kind of make this business run better?
And something I want to add into is also once you have the resume set up, right, drafted, have someone maybe with your professor or your family members look at your resume, read it, reread it, and there might be something there that might help you to wordsmith it some more or improve upon that. I think that would be very helpful just to get stuff out there, have somebody look at it from a different lens.
Yeah, I think that's a good transition, Catherine. The resume is really what you can create and format even. So what are some tips you would give for the students as they're thinking about building their resume and just the presentation of that, both in its format, kind of what it looks like on the page if it were a PDF, but if it's not, and if it's something that it just has to be kind of an unformatted text, just in their word choice, what would you recommend as they're trying to think about the resume writing process?
I'd say to start, one thing that I've always been taught and I've always been learned is to be kind of as short and sweet as you can. Like, you definitely want to make sure that you're getting your point across. You definitely want to be, again, putting yourself kind of in the best light. But if you are handing your resume to somebody, they might not be, willing to read paragraphs upon paragraphs about yourself. So if you can kind of whittle it down to, okay, here's maybe talking about a job or talking about an experience, of being as kind of as concise, but also, getting the important details in. So like every word on your resume kind of should have the same purpose of getting your point across to the employer.
And one thing I want to add with Sam is that when you draft your resume, really think about it's good, kind of regarding what Sam said, like not be a long paragraphs about your experience, but it's also thinking about some more of an action item or what you've done, what you contributed and made an impact, because that would make a big difference. And like, for example, I've led a team of 10 plus in this project, etc. So that's more impactful when an employer sees it that you've done it. If that's more of that, more a leadership role. And also thinking through about not having a simple, like not too many things going on in your resume, but more easy for the reader to review it. Because in this world, there are just so many applicants, applying for a job, and screening process kind of very important in writing the keywords there. As I said, action words that might help in that screening process, but also aligning those action words in the job descriptions that you're applying for, because that would also help kind of screen, and you getting invited for an interview.
Yeah, I totally agree. You took the words out of my mouth, Catherine. The only other thing I could think of is, to your point earlier, just making sure that someone else besides you is looking at this and that you're rereading it. I'll never forget when I was in college, I interned for a large auto manufacturing company. And one of the hiring managers in the department said that he received over 100 intern applicants or something like that. And he threw away half before even looking at them because they had punctuation errors or grammatical errors or something like that. And so just having someone else look at that for you, just from a gut check, that I spell this word correctly. And I know Word does a lot of that stuff for you, but still, it's good to have that there. So.
Students, hopefully this has just been kind of some short and sweet advice for you as you start to think about the applications that you'll complete, the resumes that you will write. Obviously, if you want to get down to having an interview with a prospective employer, it's going to come down to what you put on that page. So at this point, go ahead and locate the job application handout, and you'll go ahead and segue into some time with your teacher to get that completed and move on with this portion of the lesson.